Well, we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order and do a roll call. I'm Ray Mitchell. I'll be chairing the Civil Service Commission meeting today.
Brian McManus, Civil Service Commissioner present.
Julie Good, Chief Examiner Secretary.
Okay, we'll get with our action items. Item A, you approve the minutes from the March 13th Civil Service Commission meeting.
I read through it. I have no changes, so I make a motion to accept.
I second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion been made. The minutes are accepted as written. The next item is to certify the Community Service Officer Continuous Testing Eligibility List. Ooh, that's a mouthful. Brian, did you have any questions about the list?
Nope. Pretty straightforward.
I have no questions. I make a motion. We accept it as written.
I will second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The list is accepted. A new business staffing and recruiting update, Julie.
Great. Well, thanks very much for approving that eligibility list. So that's the list that will be used to fill that second CSO position. That's a new position that's in the 2025 budget. I know the police department's anxious to fill that, and I know they have some great candidates. So thank you on their behalf. They'll start working on that next week, and I know they're looking forward to moving probably at least a couple of candidates into background to get started.
Awesome.
Filling it soon. So they've been very busy looking at new candidates. There's the numbers adjust daily because there's applicants applying every day. But as of last week, when I prepared the agenda, there was about 108 candidates on the eligibility list for entry-level police officer. And just in about 3 weeks' time, we had 30 new candidates that applied, and the police department went through and removed 28 candidates. So they're just constantly churning candidates, which is great. That shows that we're attracting a lot of people that are anxious to work for the agency, but we're also still have a high bar, and really choosy about who we're going to hire to be a police officer here. So the chiefs are doing a great job looking at candidates. We are excited that we have one entry-level advanced candidate on the eligibility list. So hopefully that candidate will work out. And as a reminder, that's someone who's been through the law enforcement academy already. Yep. And has worked for an agency, but maybe didn't make it through their field training program. But that may not reflect their skills and abilities. It may just not have been a good fit. So it could be a terrific opportunity for us to take advantage of that. And at the time I prepared this, we did have one lateral candidate on the eligibility list, but they've been removed. So we don't have anyone on that list at the moment. And since you met last time, the police records specialist eligibility list did expire, but we have a full staff there and no vacancies. So we don't anticipate putting anybody else on that list or asking for more candidates on that list in the near future.
Okay.
So other than police officers, we're in good shape staffing wise.
And Brian, Julie shared with me that the entry-level advanced, somebody that's gone through the academy and worked for a different department, you know, we've gotten officers in that have worked out very well in our department.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe not a good fit where they were at before. You want to share with Brian on our vacant commissioner position?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So as you know, Joshua's moved out of state, so we have that vacancy on the commission. The Municipal Services Division has been advertising that vacancy. You've probably seen it on the social media postings and around town on the boards and the parks and things. So there have been 2 applicants so far, 3 applicants, one has withdrawn, but they're still looking at more applicants. And when the mayor's ready to do interviews, I think he'll ask the chair or you, Brian, to be on that interview panel, and they'll let us know when they're ready to do that.
Yeah.
If you know of anyone who you think would be great on the commission, please refer them to the city website. They can easily, it's a quick application process.
Yeah.
And as soon as we get enough applicants in there, or a good pool, we can get that filled.
So I know I had sent you one, Julie, about 6 months ago, I think, or so. It was a Navy guy who was moving here. He was going out of active duty in Bremerton, was moving to Lake Stevens. I'd have to dig it up. I don't know if he made the move or whoever applied, but I can look to see if he's still available.
Okay, I'll double check. I think that might be the one who applied and then withdrew.
Okay.
Double check.
Yeah.
Okay.
If not, Ray and I'll go door to door and coerce somebody into joining. That's how it works, right, Ray?
I already tried to get my neighbor to sign up, but he's got a lot of other things going on. Any other issues or things you want to talk about?
Ray did mention that we had a previous civil service commissioner who had to withdraw or removed from the commission a little while ago due to some other obligations. And I'll reach out to that person and see if they're interested in coming back as well.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
She's a real fire plug, this gal.
Good. We could use a fire plug.
Yeah. Anything else, Julie?
I think that's it.
Brian, do you have anything you want to bring up?
No new business. Just trying to get the bylaws rewritten for that new foundation that Chief asked me to join. So I'm trying, it was okay when they were one department, but now that they're expanding in their growth plan that we kind of put together, I'm like, we got a kind of contingency plan for this, and this. What if this happens? It's not just one voice anymore. So just been kind of going through that, trying to get it as tight as I can before I hand it over to a lawyer to make it lawyerly, right? Make it official. But it's pretty neat work. If they're kind of looking at each individual department has a QR code. So Ray, when you donate $1 million a year to the police department, you got a way you can do it now, simple, right? And it all goes to the department. But they're also going, if we have some sort of general fund to help with the day-to-day running of the foundation, right? And then a certain percentage of each donation would go to that, or donations over 20,000, a certain percentage would go to it. So we're still working kind of all that stuff out, but the idea would be in the general fund, it would be to help cover if like Stevens came up a couple $100 short on a drone, the fund would cover the balance. Fallen officers' families, immediate help, that would cover that. So different things. So we're going to try and grow it to 25 departments. That's the goal for the next 3-year growth plan on it. But it's pretty fun. It's exciting. I'm a little bit behind schedule just because work. The federal government's been kind of persnickety with buying things. I don't know if you guys have been reading the paper at all, but that's my whole world, right? So I've been in DC weekly trying to push through procurement legislation and stuff and get things right-sided. So it's been a little bit nuts for me, but hanging in there,
Could you remind us the name of that foundation?
It's the North Sound Police Foundation.
Thank you.
Yeah, it started out of Lake Forest Park, and then it's got Mill Creek, Lake Stevens. We're onboarding Medina and possibly Issaquah next. So that's what I'm like, are we really North Sound, or should we just say the South? Look at all those things if we're going to add all those departments up, right? So, but they've agreed to join just once we get the bylaws. That was one of their concerns, that the bylaws didn't really help them all, right? It's all written kind of Lake Forest Ease and Mill Creek. So we're just trying to get that baseline changed. I did get elected to the president of the board on their last board meeting, which I was 4 minutes late too. So I'm consistent, Julie. I just want to throw that out there. I was in Boston. I forgot. I was like, oh my gosh, that's right. Because of the time zone change, I just got confused. I was like, darn it. It's 9 o'clock at night versus 6 o'clock. So
would it be appropriate if we had that as a meeting agenda item? Or is that out of the scope of it? Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of things I'd like to bring up, and maybe at our next meeting, one of the chiefs can bring us up to date is on where we're at in the new academy, the one in Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Even though we don't have people, I'd like to know how they're progressing and how large their graduating classes are and that. And the second item is this issue about police officers per capita. Because I know that we are, as a state, we're way behind the national curve. And if we're that far behind, do we need to lobby the city council to give us more funding for more officers and bring us more in line?
Right. I agree with that, Ray. I agree 100%.
I don't know how much of an update there's been since the last time DC, the deputy chief updated you guys, but.
Well, that's been quite a while too.
Yeah.
Great.
It can be for next meeting, Julie. I just kind of more curious to Ray's point of, how it's going with the new academy. Is it working out well? I imagine it's been well received, from the north end anyway, or that, it's to drive all the way to Renton every day or whatever.
Yeah, I remember they said they were starting out a little intentionally, they were starting out a little slow and kind of gearing up as things, as the building was finished and that type of thing.
Now, we had some officers that were scheduled to be instructors up there, didn't we? I thought somebody mentioned that at one time.
Could be. Most agencies send officers when they have the staffing to do so. Yeah, I can ask them as well for if we have anyone there.
Hmm.
Okay,
Brian, do you have anything else?
No, the only other thing I think is, and I didn't hear anything about it, but do we have any known retirements or anything coming up that we got to kind of start working towards?
nothing we know of
Good.
would, but
So that,
Never know.
4 vacancies, that's a pure number that we know of now,
right.
until, we
Till
find out,
tomorrow.
yeah.
You never know.
All right. Well, I've got nothing else. I can make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second that motion, all in favor?
Oh, aye.
Aye. All right,
All
good
right.
seeing you,
Thanks,
Brian.
Ray. Thanks, Julie. Sorry I was late, guys.
That's all right.